Welcome back to another episode of Blind Boys Politics. I'm Chris Baker with Nick Rod. We are here for another, I almost said dumb law.
It's definitely not dumb law.
We are back for another Good News Saturday. This is our third one. The only difference from this month's Good News is I am here.
He is here. Welcome.
I'm assisting Nick with the good news, even though he did all the work. I'm just reacting to the wonderful good news king mastery that he finds. But if you are new here, Nick, what is Good News Saturday?
Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. I go on the internet and find the best good news stories that I can find, and we just talk about them here. And like Chris said, he is here this time around to react. It's not just going to be me rambling to myself for 30 minutes. Thank God. And so this is going to be a good morning.
How many good news stories do we have this week?
We have 6 to look forward to today.
Okay, well, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I just want you to get right into them because I'm kind of on the edge of my seat right now.
All right.
I've been looking forward to joining the Good News Saturdays.
Yeah,
it's like an exclusive club.
Look, you're sitting in the Good News throne room, the Good News castle right now. Okay. And I don't care how cringy I just sounded.
Are they in any particular order?
I did try to put them in a nice little order just to have a nice little flow. Just to have a nice even balance of how these stories how they go throughout the episode.
Okay, well, kick it off. I'm kind of on the edge of my seat right now.
All right, so this morning we start off with a nice, just kind of happy, free-flowing story here. So this company was working on the remodel of a theater, right? And one of the guys working was trying to fix a light fixture, and it got caught on a wire, and they needed to go up and shut off the electricity. So he goes up the stairs looking for the electrical box, and he goes into this crawl space. And in that crawl space, he finds old tickets and candy wrappers, bottles. Then he finds a wallet. In the wallet was a concert ticket, a Grateful Dead concert ticket from 1973, and a bunch of old family pictures. And it had the name of the owner of the wallet inside. So he goes on Facebook and puts up a post asking who this person is and that he has their wallet. And after over 1,000 shares, finally the story made its way to the owner. And she actually, made it publicly known that it was her. The wallet got returned with all the photos that she had, that she had lost way back then. Mind you, this was lost back in 1975. This wallet was lost in 1975, so it's been hovering around for almost 50 years. And it got returned to its owner.
Family pictures, 1973. Had the owner's, I would imagine it was probably his ID, and put it on Facebook. But my question was there any money in it at that point?
There was not. And it was actually pointed out, she had said that back when she lost the wallet, there had been some cash in it, and when it was found, there was none in there.
So somewhere along the lines, that money came up missing. But either way, I mean, you lost a wallet from 1975, and then it gets returned. And I mean, 1975 to now, those family pictures, they're old. They've changed. Picture ways have changed. Family looks different. I mean, that's actually not. It's like a cool story. It's like you're bringing back. I don't want to say you're bringing back history, but it's kind of. I mean, that's over 30 years ago.
Well, and beyond that too, the owner of the wallet even said like for not only the theater worker, but everyone who shared the post and got in contact with her, everyone who did that, like the kindness that they showed by making this kind of effort to return a wallet that had been lost for that long and to return especially the pictures that had been lost so long ago is incredible.
Well, you know what they say, it takes a village.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree with that statement too.
Well, Nick, I like that story. What else do you got for us this morning?
All right. So, our next story here, again, I could say each one of these is incredible, and I should probably come up with different superlatives for these, but just mind boggling. So, a private college in Ohio just recently erased the debt for the entire classes of both 2020 of both 2020 and 2021. Now, this debt that got erased amounted up to about $375,000 and included 166 students. The college to attend full time is about 13,000 per year, and they just made all that disappear. And when they were asked for the reasoning of why they did this, their response was basically just because of the fact that these students managed to fight through and beat the challenges that were sparked due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So they wanted to give back in some way for those students doing that.
How did they eliminate the whole debt? Like, where did they get the money from to eliminate that?
They just wiped the accounts clean. Simple as that. You know, if they got the money from somewhere else, it didn't mention any other source of funding. They just wiped the accounts.
Huh. Well, that's really cool because, I mean, $13,000 a year, that adds up. And I mean, that's a huge burden off of them now that they don't have to worry about for years upon years upon years of paying back student loans.
Yeah, no, the elation. I was reading this story and I tried to put myself in that situation. You know, you've been going to college, you have all this debt, and if you've been to college, you know that debt really does rack up, uh, especially if you go for a long time. And to have all of it just erased in the blink of an eye for the owners of the college to just say you don't have to worry about paying any of this back, it's all been wiped. That's dream level content right there. That's something that people dream of, and it happened for real.
I wish I went to that college. I'm just kidding. I mean, for the owners of the college to do that, that's. Did they give an estimated about how much debt was forgiven, or
Yeah, like I said before, it was about $375,000.
that's a lot of freaking money just to forget about?
No, absolutely.
That's a great story. I like that story.
Yep,
I mean, that's
166
wow.
students.
$375,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, 166 students. Just think, when you just think 166, it doesn't maybe always sound like a lot, but 166 people just got a chance to start their future with a clean slate.
It's a huge burden off their back. I like that story. I'm gonna say that about every story, but I mean, what do you got for our third story?
All right, so we have more talk about graduation. This time we look at a high school graduation, and a few days ago, a couple weeks ago now, actually, a student had gotten stopped outside the convention center where they were going to have their school's graduation. And he was told that he couldn't walk across the stage and get his diploma because of the shoes he was wearing. The school had a very, very strict dress code, and the shoes he was wearing violated that. And so he's panicking. He's outside. They're not letting him in. And he sees one of the teachers from the school outside because the teacher's daughter was also graduating that night. And so he goes up to the teacher and basically says, hey, they're not letting me graduate. They're not letting me walk the stage. And so the teacher first tried talking to the school administrator. School administrator, held the point that he wasn't going to be walking across the stage. So the teacher then just proceeded to take off his shoes, give them to the student, and then the student was allowed to walk across the stage. And later on, when it was being reported on, the teacher said that it was a just no-brainer decision to make. Just took him right off and handed him over to the student. So that gave him the opportunity to collect his diploma, to walk the stage, and to be a part of those celebrations.
I am so glad you covered this story because I have seen it all over the place. Just about everyone's covering it. And I did not want to say, I didn't want to influence you one way or another to include a story or not. But I was praying to the good news gods that the king himself would cover this good news story because, this teacher went above and beyond, confronted the administrator. Then the administration was determined he needs to meet the dress code and then takes off his own shoes and gives it to the student so he can walk the stage and get his diploma.
To be able to have, that kind of kindness and to have that kind of relationship between a student and teacher, and that's just amazing. And not only that, the school is lucky and the students are lucky that teacher works there, because if that teacher's going to go above and beyond like that in that kind of situation, you can only imagine what they're like. Yeah, what they do in the classroom and in the school building.
And from this good news story, it did raise lots of controversy, but leaving the controversy alone, this teacher really did go above and beyond, did what he didn't have to do. That he could have said, well, you know what, you'll get your diploma in around 10 days.
Right.
Just be glad you got that. But he understood the importance of walking across the stage, getting that diploma, shaking administration's hand, and moving on to the next chapter of your life.
And it's crazy too, because the parents, the students' parents had no idea that any of this was going on. They had to rush in because they had been running a little late. They had rushed in not knowing what was going on. And afterwards, the mom called the teacher and it was just teary-eyed.
I would be too.
Yeah, same. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? All right. So now we move right along here to, I'd call this the craziest story of this morning. And the reason I say that is because a 7-year-old boy swam a full mile in order to save his father and his little sister. So essentially what happened was the three of them were on the father's boat. And they were just kind of swimming around while the boat was anchored in this one spot. This took place in Jacksonville, Florida. And the sister ended up accidentally letting go of the boat while they were in a pretty strong current and started to float away. So the father immediately jumped into the water to try and catch her. and couldn't manage to catch her because of the current and how fast she was being pulled away. So he swam after her, and the boy swam back to shore. An entire mile he swam for an hour to get back to shore, and then ran to the nearest house and got help. The Jacksonville fire and rescue squads, as well as the Jacksonville Sheriff's Department and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Service, they all got involved in the search. And after an hour, the father and the sister were all saved. They were both saved. They're perfectly healthy, and just a good ending all the way around.
I know you said the age, but how old did you say he was?
7 years old.
Okay, so 7 years old, swim a mile. I mean, swimming a mile at any age is it can be very long, especially.
Yeah, it's physically taxing.
Yeah, especially, you have current issue. Like if it's in a swimming pool, it's a little bit more easy. It's a lot less, I don't know what you would call it, but
It's less strenuous when you're in a pool.
In the ocean, I mean, that's a hike. And to do that at 7 years old and to save your entire family, that's heroic. You will go down as a hero in that town, in that family.
Yeah, that's something that definitely gets talked about. And he was asked too by reporters. He was asked, how did you learn to become such a great swimmer? And his response was, and I quote, "I have no idea." And which is the best response. That's absolutely amazing.
That's a good response. What you got for our fifth story tonight?
All right. The fifth story comes from the Los Angeles area, where a couple has been hiding money in baby supplies across different Target stores. The couple is close to having 3 children. The mom's due. It didn't give an exact date, but she's due soon. And so they know how expensive and tough it can be to have a baby. And they even said that at first they struggled to make ends meet. But now that they're a little better off financially, they decided that they wanted to, lend a helping hand to parents that might be going through what they went through when they had their first child. So they've been hiding cash like in diaper packages, in formula canisters, and at this point they've given about $1,000, and they've even said that they're not slowing down. They're not done. They're going to continue doing this, and they're planning to even branch out, go to different stores and even different cities.
Okay, so I mean, it's great that they gave money, just giving out money and kind of hiding it. But you know what I love about this good news story is, I mean, don't get me wrong, this is great. You could just walk up to someone at these stores that you see have baby stuff in their cart and just pay for it. But they're kind of like, they came up with a really creative way of doing it, and that's what I love about some of your good news stories. The creativity that some people come up with is just amazing.
I absolutely agree. And it's such a spontaneous thing because these parents, or soon to be parents, are, they're just walking up expecting to just buy normal diapers or formula or whatever. And then could you imagine the feeling that you must get to just find a bunch of cash in that package or in that canister?
You're sitting on top of the moon.
Yeah. Especially when you're struggling like that, because I mean, yeah, it's like the couple said, it's not cheap
not
to raise a child.
No, it's not.
And especially due to and this was one of the points the couple brought up too, is especially because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the struggles that it's brought on some people financially, it can be especially hard to raise a child and make ends meet.
Yes. I mean, we see it every day in the news, and then even, I mean, just a little bit that they're doing in their local community is giving a big impact on someone's life somewhere, somehow.
Yeah. And
What,
one thing you noted too about, because you said they could have just gone up and seen that these people were paying for these items and then just like here, I'm going to pay for it for you. But instead they decided to keep it, like they decided to keep their physical presence out of it, I guess is like the way I'd put it. They didn't make themselves involved in the situation or
right.
known.
So we're at our sixth story. Did you save the best for last, or?
So I decided that to kind of just end it off, I go with a nice little quick story. Just one to just kind of make you smile. So a TikTok video had come out recently about an owner and his cat who had been walking through the woods one day together, and they found a cat while they were walking. They found a stray. And the cat that had been walking through the woods with his owner helped the stray kitten home. Literally helped take it home. And what's even crazier about the whole thing is that this cat had been a stray when the owner found him. So now the rescued was now being the rescuer.
Yeah. So, owner and a cat walking, find another stray. This cat saves that cat from being a stray. Now this owner has two cats now. I mean, how bizarre, how, like, it's so coincidental.
It really is, though. But it's amazing. Like,
That one cat could have just kept on going, like, stay away, but had to stop. Now has either a brother or a sister.
yeah, no, it's so crazy to think about how, like, the cat that had originally been a stray, now, having an owner find this other cat, and now that cat helps the kitten home. That's the part that just makes me smile the most, is that he like just helped that cat get home. And as a cat lover, I wish I could experience this. It's like, I want that to happen.
I'm just like shocked on how like coincidental that is. Like,
I
what are the odds of
know.
that?
I know. It's so insane to really think about.
Well, Nick, this is our first fully complete Saturday Good News that I participated in. I really like Good News Saturday. Even the two prior to it, I listened to them. I loved them. It seems like everyone's loving them. You found the great stories from cat saving cat to graduation to a 7-year-old saving the whole family. Really good news stories. I love Good News Saturday, and I can't wait for next month's.
I really enjoy doing these episodes, these Good News Saturdays. I do, because, and I think I said this on the last one that I did, when you do these Good News Saturdays, when I do them, it just gives me a chance to escape by finding all these good news stories, to find all this light, to find all this happiness that's still going on out there, and being able to share it, being able to just talk about it and put it out there, and hopefully make you guys all smile just like I am whenever I see these stories. It's an incredible feeling for me.
Well, everyone, you know the drill by now. Make sure you follow us on the Blind Boys Politics Twitter account so you're always in the know with the latest 24-hour breaking news. Follow our personal accounts to see what we're up to. But until Monday morning, have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye, guys.